Alright, let us begin this broken memory. And where we at? I don't know where we're at.
I used to think all answers were the same. Then I switched.
He switched to pneumatic here.
Doctor's office.
So that's what he does.
They focus on keeping me healthy and feeling good.
Yeah, I feel good.
Got it.
The sugar, right?
The best part, everyone in Oak Street.
It's time to play
At Oak Street Health,
Agatha Christie.
for older adults like you, with a focus on keeping
The
you healthy.
ABC Mothers.
Diane, we're ready for you.
Hey, everybody.
Here people get to know me the old-fashioned way.
How's your trip well done?
This guy takes all the notes, so my doctor is...
And let's see. It's been a while. I think it's been like a couple of days. Anyway, see, we have the A, the B, and the C murder, and now they're trying to figure it out. I think there's another murder on the way, but according to the game, it should be stopped before it happens, and this is where we catch the killer. Let's go to our game screen and continue with Agatha Christie. The ABC Mothers. With you people.
Getting the care you need has never been easier, because our team members work together to handle
Let's see, bonuses. We are, let me see, right here.
When we receive the first letter, Hastings thinks that it is a joke. As for me, Mrs. Asher is not suspicious of the murderer, whom she takes to be an ordinary customer. The old lady turns around to take a packet of cigarettes. She is beaten to death. We investigate the first murder with Hastings. No suspect has a motive. A few weeks later, we receive a second letter signed ABC. Chief Inspector Japp is informed. The victim's name should start with the letter B. Betty Barnard leaves her work. She's dressed to go out. The young woman is strangled on the beach. In Bexhill, Donald Fraser appears to be the perfect suspect for Betty's murder, but he has no connection with Mrs. Asher. After dinner, Sir Carmichael Clark takes his usual walk. In Churston, Thorogray and Franklin Clark are the main suspects. We receive the final letter from ABC. The next murder will be in Doncaster. The second general meeting in London highlights the common points between the victims: stockings and a throat condition.
In a throat condition. And that's as far as we got. So, let me see, the politicians, these are all just mustaches, I think. Oh, wrong one. Is it
Welcome to Ryan and Washington.
Oh, here we go. Reconstructions. And then I think we did all of the reconstruction. Reconstruction. No, we didn't. I don't remember this.
Search things have been leading up to this summer's presidential.
Sir Clark is taking his customary walk. Our killer is hiding behind a bush. The old man walks quietly along the gravel path. Then he turns towards the sea to gaze at it. The killer leaves his hiding place on the right-hand side. He approaches silently over the grass. Then he throws himself on his prey and cuts the poor man's throat. He then lays down the ABC before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, Monsieur Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
My favorite thing is not going to the gas station anymore. I can't tell you the last time I stopped at gas, and it's really convenient to just be able to continue with my day and not have to worry about money or going.
Italian? I think being a
Yes,
woman,
like
the
myself,
safety is always kind of questioned there. And so not having to go to the gas
This game, I don't know,
station
man.
relieves a lot of stress
It's,
financially as well as for safety reasons.
How many Mustangs can you
I
collect?
just love the storage available. There's a
Gold
lot of
payment back.
room, there's 2 trunks.
I don't remember the
And
gold
I
payment
also
back.
love not having to stop at the gas station.
Okay, well, in a poll with the Associated Press, 4 in 10 U.S. adults said range was a major reason not to buy an EV.
You
So
do not
as early
hide
adopters, have
anything
you
from
guys seen
one
any
computer.
problems so far?
I've been driving my EV for about a year and a half, and I noticed that in the winter I do get less miles, but I can get over 300 miles on the charge. So I feel like that does take you pretty far. We're fortunate in that we have a charger at our home,
Yeah, put it in the
so
comment.
I can see where
Put it in
range
the comment
anxiety
or
can be
you
a
know,
thing
let
for
it
people
sit,
that
but
don't
still.
have that luxury. But I also have managed to be able to get twice the EV rating out of our vehicle and our vehicle.
Anyway,
Range anxiety is a thing. I do on my home, so I get the luxury of charging at my home.
well, you gotta answer
For
the
people
phone, I
who
think.
commute maybe more than me as
Oh,
a
that's
single
where he,
woman, no children,
read,
right? People who have multiple school stops or after school activities that could
answer the
be a
phone.
challenge, and just driving a little bit more.
Okay, well, according to a new survey with AAA, only 18% of adults said that they were
Answer
likely
the
to buy an
phone. Answer the telephone.
EV, and 63% said they were unlikely to buy an EV. So for those of you who have been thinking about it or maybe a little hesitant,
Hello,
is there any
Laura.
reason you haven't bought
The news, Chief Inspector.
You wanted a stocking seller? We have one. Reported by his landlady, thought he was behaving suspiciously. He has the most unbelievable name.
Also, concerned about in this
So,
area,
the Bonaparte crest.
37 lakes. If I'm putting a
Wang
bike
Ching.
lake with an electric vehicle, how's
Nick
that?
W. Dunbar.
Right after you get that,
That's
like,
his
just,
name.
you know, so that's one. I have concerns about.
Yeah, I
Oh.
about that. Yes.
I think it's this one. I think it's Alexander Bonaparte crust.
Who was used to driving trucks unless absolutely necessary.
Or it
So
could be
if
Nick W. Dunbar.
I had my little brother move to Florida. We was able to make that drive from
I forget what his
Fort
name
Lauderdale in
was.
24 hours.
I think it was
To
crust.
do that. And
Okay,
whereas
I
on the
see.
other hand, I work less than 10
Alexander
miles from my house.
Bonaparte Cust.
So
Yes,
that's like a
Alexander Bonaparte
community
Cust.
perfect.
How did you guess? Poirot, you have magical powers. It's a serious lead. I called Doncaster. Person matching Cust's description has been seen at the station. He got off the train from London, but after that, nobody knows where he went.
Because right now, you know, EV purchase rates are only hovering around 8% for you. But globally, it's much closer to 17, 18% and increasing year over year. And it's important that if we want to have an economy of the future, that we're still producing things that are sold in the future. If we want to be a part of that system and economy, right
Well, he
now,
was staying at a
Tesla
hotel.
might be the #1 global automaker for electric vehicles, but numbers
Was
2
it called
through
the
5
Giga
are all Chinese brands.
No, the Giga
And that's
was
money
in-
that's not coming into our economy.
I think the right direction to take this would be
Look for him at the Black Swan Hotel.
abilities.
What?
So
How do you know he's there?
Trust me, Chief Inspector.
You appear to be very sure of yourself. Very well. I'll call the Black Swan straight away. The owner is going to get a shock when he learns that there's a murderer under his roof.
I think that would be the suggestion that I would make to
Oh,
the administration.
And we're really just at the starting point of what battery technology can
Oh,
be.
it's
We're not at a
good,
point where we're dealing with solid-state batteries or even anything that branches out from lithium-ion,
Oh,
lithium-ion, like
encourage.
all these different things that are
Do your
in front of
best,
us
Jack.
are only in front of us if
You
we
can
take
count on
advantage of
me.
it, and that's the most important thing.
And of course, this is the Motor City, so the real question is, are we going to leave?
Hastings,
or are we-
everything is at stake. With a little luck, our main suspect will soon be under lock and key.
That was Mike Duffy with Scripps News Detroit.
So has
A reminder,
Cust
don't
been
miss the
arrested?
CNN presidential debates
Yes,
tomorrow night at
the
9
Doncaster
Eastern.
police are sending him by train.
That is good news.
And
But why so gloomy, Chief Inspector?
Well, when I told the hotel owner that he was sheltering a murderer, he collapsed.
Is dead?
Tonight and
No, fortunately, but it has taken its toll on him. It has to be said that with his name starting with the letter D, he had every reason to fear Cust. I bet he was going to be the next victim.
Our Deputy Political Director Joe St. George and White House correspondent Greg Marshall are talking to voters across Scripps country as they have been presidential debate. We've been hearing from them all this week, leading up to the main event tomorrow night.
No, he didn't. Oh.
Endorsement a day ahead.
Okay, let's do
former Congressman Agatha
Chief Inspector, I believe that I share responsibility for this incident.
What do you mean?
I saw Mr. Dunbar's medical records. His heart was weak. I should have warned you.
It's very honest of you to tell me that, Poirot. I appreciate your gesture.
Please keep me informed of his progress.
You can count on me. I'll do what's needed.
I will visit him at his bedside when the killer is caught.
That's typical of you, Poirot. We should focus on the next part of the investigation in order to avoid other incidents. While we're waiting to question Cust, we could search his room in London.
Where does he live?
Marbury Guest House.
I'll see you there.
Yes, but start without me. First of all, I have to sort out the details of the Cust transfer.
I understand. À bientôt. Hastings, we are making good progress. Please go and search the room of our number one suspect.
With pleasure. I did have a dentist appointment, but I'll cancel.
The dentist. So that is why you were so nervous and bad-tempered.
A visit to the dentist is never an enjoyable prospect.
But an unavoidable one. Go to your appointment, Hastings. I will manage on my own.
Former Jewish leaders and real groups, Bowman was seeking a third term in Congress.
To Marbury Guest House, please.
I didn't win it on the national debate. I won it because I went door to door where I could all throughout this district, and I talked to people about the issues they want to talk about, which includes in the Middle East, to really prioritize domestic issues.
Marbury. There is a very pretty village by this name in Cheshire.
And the U.S. backing of Israel would go over with voters. And on the other side of the aisle, moreover, Colorado won her primary contest after switching districts. One of the House's more far-right members and an ally of Trump, Bowman is now poised for what will likely be an easy win in the general election. She's been accused of carpetbagging and avoiding a tough race in November by switching districts.
I've been going past this modest guest house for so long. I would never have thought that the ABC case would lead me here.
United Nations Secretary General. His first day on the job will be October 1st. Ruda will succeed Jens Stoltenberg. Stoltenberg is stepping down after 10 years. Frightening video there. Thousands of protesters stormed Kenya's parliament yesterday in opposition to a proposed tax bill. The incident drew police and fire crews and led to Kenya's defense minister calling in the military for support. Several people died and around 200 were wounded. Today, Kenyan President William Ruto announced
it looks like I've found the real master of this house.
Quote, widespread dissatisfaction. Still to come on Scripps News Live, the latest on efforts to upend a 24-hour waiting period for abortion in Michigan. Strength in music, strength in numbers. We focus on one city's powerful gay men's court.
There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
You're still running with these? Don't get cartridge. To the cartridge, exit ego tank. No more spinning big bucks on tiny.
How do you do? You must be Mr. Hercule Poirot. Chief Inspector Jack told me that you might be coming.
Switch the ego tank and save up to $100. Visit Epson
No, that's he is a great house. Get annoyed secret peeled potatoes.
But they put it off because they think it'll be too expensive. Hi, I'm Ann Romer.
I guess that's a pro
renewal by Anderson. You really work with the customers to find
Madame, you may be of valuable help to me.
It would be my pleasure to help you. Will there be some journalists there as well?
I think you might even be interviewed. You are a key witness.
I've suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about. But even then, he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham, but my daughter saw him at Euston Station. It's not the right station. To get to Cheltenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr. Cuss left behind an ABC with Doncaster underlined. As you can imagine, when I saw that, I called Scotland Yard.
My background is in home remodeling as a carpenter. I've seen every window problem out there. So now I just want to help homeowners make their homes more beautiful and comfortable with the right windows.
One moment, please. How did you know that Cust had underlined Doncaster in his Highway Guide?
I went and had a look in his room.
I see. Do you make a habit of searching through your lodger's belongings?
Well, what are you going to do later? I bet you're going to poke around his room too.
Tell me, did you have any other reason to suspect Mr. Cust?
He's rather queer. He talks to himself. He has a bad cough. Because of the war, he says. And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered. I found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He didn't want me to wash his shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
662-02.
We're excited to do business with.
We're good? Were the stains
online and maybe
Where were the stains on the shirt?
Can't recall.
Got used to travel for his work. Is that correct?
Yes, although he was unwell on trains.
Do you know where Cust was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? On June the 21st and July the 25th?
No idea.
But surely you keep a register.
It won't do you much good. Mr. Cuss rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it. I remember one thing. Texas by the sea, right?
Indeed, it is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cuss asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
Has invoked an order allowing the fire marshal to mobilize resources to help fight the fire.
Very interesting. Please continue.
I also forgot to say that he started by newspapers that talked about the case.
Chris Wynn and Chris Stewart, they'll get you caught up on all the business and consumer news of the day and break down what it means for your walk. Today on the show, you're not imagining it. Traffic is getting worse. We'll tell you which cities have the most bumper to bumper.
Which newspapers?
The evening ones and the daily ones.
That will be all for now. I'm going to take a look at his home.
Take the key on the counter.
Scanned all over. And it's celebrating its 50th anniversary today. Old enough for an AARP card, right? We're taking a look at the history of the barcode. How did it get its start? Plus, could it be on its way out?
This woman appears to be in a bad mood.
Yesterday, a judge temporarily blocked a 24-hour waiting period for abortions in Michigan. The judge said the policy conflicts with an amendment in the state constitution that guarantees abortion rights, and added the waiting period forces needless delay on patients after they are able to consent to a procedure. The judge stopped Michigan's requirement that only a physician can perform an abortion, saying
Mrs. Marbury is taking out her bad mood on the evening news potato.
And nurse midwives. The New York Times says U.S. states have made progress reducing racial and ethnic inequities in healthcare, but it says there's still a ways to go. It says structural racism and social factors worsen health outcomes for minorities. It also says a more diverse workforce and changes to payment systems make differences. The National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicines come out.
I should check the register. Mrs. Marbury may have been hiding something from me.
I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
Inside a church.
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
Tonight's local warm-up is artistic director
Truth is becoming apparent.
Something happens when a bunch of people come together. This thing that's kind of, you could call it transcendence, like we all come together, our voices come together into a sound.
Neil and the nonprofit's president of the board of directors, David Decker, are just two of the more than 100 active members of the chorus.
We're a family. One of the things about queer people is sometimes we don't have our birth family for whatever various reasons.
There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
And the other side of it is that we're a community, but also a community that sings really well and cares about singing. So, we get to the moment before...
Mrs. Marbury, if I am to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the day of the Bexley murder. Room 306 is Cust's home. Can you explain yourself?
If I did, it was because Mr. Cust wasn't here. What about it?
Several major shows a year at the Balboa Theater downtown.
So you got a living on the roof?
It's called Let's Get Loud. Singing for change.
There's so much going on in the political climate right now, and there's so much legislation, like thousands of pieces of legislation.
You rented the same home to two people. That's fraud.
Calm down, Mr. Poirot. My lodgings were full and I couldn't let poor Mr. Fishman sleep outside.
Towards like being able to exist without fear of losing your job. And so it's really important for us to stand up and make statements and say, we're here.
Mrs. Marbury has taken out her bad mood on the evening meal's potato.
And I see art, as well as being a way of saying we're here, but also offering a really important communication tool and some joy.
No more need to consult the register.
It's something that's always been core to this organization that got its start nearly 40 years ago.
I would say really over the past 40 years, we've gone from a small, wonderful organization to a large chorus that is musically active and works with other choruses in really promoting social justice and advocacy.
Jesse Schiffman is the chorus's executive director.
We really tell stories through our music. We tell stories about the LGBTQ+ community, about the struggles we go through, about our successes, and the beautiful common bonds that we all share.
Members say what they do can
It is a very beautiful piano. Maybe Mrs. Marbury likes to play in her free time.
I understand my teenager's situation much better because I've seen
It is a very
150 people on stage just like them, and I feel much more comfortable now. And almost every show, the curtain goes down at the end of the show, and you turn around and you're a new member, it's just tears flowing down their face, and they have many stories of them saying...
All the main articles referring to the ABC case are here, from the Churston murder onwards. Nothing before that date.
What we do is we change hearts and minds.
Most probably the basting dress repaired by Mrs. Marbury's expert hands. The Bexhill Daily Paper, dated from the day of the Bexhill murder.
One of the students chosen for this year's class for the NFL's Diversity in Sports Medicine
Trousers,
Initiative.
white shirts. Everything has been washed very well.
This is business news for problems.
Welcome to Main Wall. Our goal is to take you to Main Street and Wall Street, diving into how the big money stories of the day impact you.
Main Wall.
It's closed.
All eyes are going to be on Arizona.
ABC guys, enough to sign about a dozen murders.
That we're going to decide who ends up in the White House in November. Arizona is one of them. Ben Brown, Scripps News, and Phoenix.
Push Factor Total Beats is the #1 beat in America. That's why friends and family recommend Total Beats. Now you can find Total Beats blood pressure tubes at Walmart so you can boost blood oxygen, and improve heart rate. Watch to Walmart and find Total Beats.
Have you called
This
for
key
your
bears the number
Medicare
306.
benefits checkup? Your free Medicare benefits checkup? Now is the time to call for yours. Did you know there's a special Medicare enrollment period if you're losing coverage, moving, or new to Medicare? You may be eligible for a special enrollment period. Call the number on your screen now for your free Medicare benefits checkup.
Enrollment in a Medicare Part C plan, also known as Medicare Advantage, is not automatic. Call for your free Medicare benefits checkup.
Do you know about Medicare Part C plans? Are you confused about what a Medicare Part C plan covers? Call for your free Medicare benefits checkup. Call 800-251-6931.
Original Medicare is made up of Parts A and B. Part A covers hospital stays, and Part B covers things like doctor's visits. A Medicare Part C plan could help you save money and may include extra benefits. Call for your free Medicare benefits checkup. A licensed insurance agent can answer your questions, check if you're eligible for a special enrollment period, and help you see what plans and benefits are available to you in your area. Call the number on your screen now for your free Medicare benefits checkup.
Now is the time to call for your free Medicare benefits checkup.
Different Part C plans are available in different parts of the country.
Laudanum, Cameron's Chemists. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This subject would probably be useful to me.
Call for your free Medicare benefits checkup and speak to a licensed insurance agent who can answer your questions, check your eligibility, and help you understand your options.
Diethyl barbituric acid, Johnson Company. I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative. This subject would probably be useful to me.
Call 800-251-6931. The call and Medicare benefits checkup are absolutely free and there's no obligation. Call 800-251-6931. That's 800-251-6931. 800-251-6931.
At Balsam Hills, the big day is only 5 months away. Get ready now with our Christmas All July sale. For a limited time only, get deals up to 50% off and free shipping on the
How hopeful. This place is a real mess.
Start now at balsamhill.com.
Well done, folks. Victor Wembanyama was a once-in-a-generation NBA draft prospect last year. He was a no-brainer for the San Antonio Spurs for the #1 overall pick, but that was last year. In tonight's NBA draft, there's no...
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
The Atlanta Hawks have the first pick, and who will they end up taking? The other headline is, of course, Bronny James, the son of LeBron James. Could he end up playing with his dad in the Los Angeles?
John Milligan, Managing Director, Silky Legs, Frederick Street, Leicester. To A.B. Cust, Marbury's Guest House, 1935, May the 21st. Dear Sir, further to our letters dated 5th and 10th of the month, we confirm we are you as door-to-door salesman, according to the conditions stated in our previous letters. We will send you the articles by mail and also a Redfield typewriter you will be using for every business letter. Regarding the schedule of your rounds, please do as following. June 21, Andover. Arrive by train the 20th in the evening and get a room at Station Hotel. Start your turn in the north part of the town. This letter establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churchton. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes.
For her, it's the relationship between doctors and patients that makes it so special.
Last year in med school, I actually tore my ACL and my meniscus, so I got surgery, and just going through that process, also then
a long-bladed knife, a murderer's weapon. This subject would probably be useful to me.
It's when the National Football League began its diversity in sports medicine pipeline initiative.
It's an
Jessica is
ABC.
one of 29 students who were chosen this year.
So I think it's important to sort of...
Did Cust drop it when he opened the window, or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning?
She'll have hands-on learning and receive direct feedback from medical professionals.
Cust is parsimonious.
who work with players every
He keeps
day.
his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing
Dr.
left.
Brian
It is
Bugel,
clear that he did not grow up in luxury.
Programs like this are important because patient success depends on it.
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
For example, in this case, that better mirrors the patient population that you serve, that patient satisfaction scores go up, the level of
War of 1914-1918.
According to a John
By the King's order, the name of Corporal A.B. Cust, Devonshire Regiment, was published on the London Gazette on May the 10th, 1918, as mentioned in the dispatch for gallant and distinguished service. An army dispatch, wounded on the Somme front, victim of a gas attack, corporate cost greatly deserves his distinction.
One way to keep your pups cool in the warm weather. A pool park. Dogs at a rescue and rehoming charity in Dublin, Ireland. Went for a splash.
I have to get the
pool
ribbon.
this week.
How am I going to do it?
Getting sprayed with the hose, living their best lives. Dogs Trust Ireland warned dog owners that too much exercise in hot weather could be dangerous and potentially fatal for dogs. So you want to keep an eye on that, but let them have some fun. When it's nice and hot out. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christian Bryan. Next on Baseball, how often are strikes happening between ships and bridges? Our Scripps News investigation team found months after the North Bridge collapse. And check us out on ScripsNews.com. Main and Wall starts in about 2 minutes.
The ribbon is jammed. I have to start by freeing it.
When Lila was ready to sell her ring, she sent it to Worthy, where they took care of everything and auctioned it on her terms. Then Worthy sent Lila her money. You're worthy of more. Get started at worthy.com.
The left-hand hail has been removed.
The exact same nationwide leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Like this.
The right-hand hail has been removed.
It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we've got them. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age metal housing.
And here is the ribbon. Let us see if it was indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC.
We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip.
I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change, no problem. With our SmartFlex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. But then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty. So you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over? Or I'd like $15 to
A long-bladed knife. A murderous weapon.
Easy.
Easy as pie.
You see that tower out there? There are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you.
And here is the ribbon. Let us see if it was indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC.
That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days,
I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes.
To buy any phone, get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone. I need the perfect banana. Let's see. There are banana bread bananas, banana split bananas, banana cream pie bananas. God, just what they need. Bananas.
Next on Main Wall, a victory for the Biden administration months ahead of the election. The Supreme Court is allowing the White House to continue targeting misinformation on social media.
What am I doing here?
And what this means for what you could see on. We're keeping an eye on Wall Street as the stock exchange closes. Rivian wrapping up the stock market today. We'll explain why.
Do I have to,
The big storyline to watch tonight. Which team will take Bronny James in the NBA draft?
I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative.
On a roster could be financial or
Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher.
Good afternoon and welcome to Main and Wall. I'm Chris Wynn.
His key bears the number 306.
Top stories that have to do with money and its impact on you. Let's go to Wall Street. Stocks somewhat sluggish today. Many investors are waiting on Friday's fresh inflation data from the Federal Reserve. NVIDIA fell 2% just a day after making gains for the first time in 4 days. Meanwhile, Amazon made history. Shares find more than 3% today, and that pushed the company's market cap past $2 trillion for the first time.
Verizon will pay $1 million after reaching a settlement with the FCC. It follows the 911 call outage in December 2022 in 6 states, including Alabama,
Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee were affected.
This knife is very useful. Who knows? Maybe it never cut anything other than string.
911 for nearly 2 hours.
Stockings.
The FCC says Verizon must pay the civil penalty and
Stockings.
implement a compliance plan.
Sales of newly built homes fell 11.3% from April to May. Only 619,000 homes were sold, less than expected, marking the steepest monthly decline since September 2022. Meanwhile, mortgage rates are trending down after soaring to the highest level of the year in early May.
We're approaching the dog days of summer and peak grilling season.
Oh, here we go.
So don't worry. Today's price check has you covered. A 10-piece premium grilling set from Cuisinart is
I have to get the ribbon.
on Amazon.
How am I going to do it?
Grilling baskets to keep your grill clean while cooking your favorite foods. A set of 3 from Yukon Glory is $49.99.
The ribbon is jammed. I have to start by freeing it.
If you're a Florida Panthers fan and you want to show off some of your Stanley Cup pride while manning the grill, you can grab this 2024 Cup winners jersey from NHL.
The right-hand heel has been removed.
$189.99.
That jersey would be pretty warm in South Florida by the grill. I recommend a t-shirt, maybe a tank top.
The left-hand heel has been removed.
White House is under a street light today as it claims victory in a case involving social media.
Now, the Supreme Court sided with the Biden administration on the case centered on government officials asking social
And here is the
media companies
ribbon.
to take down false
Let us see if it was
information.
indeed
In a
used to write the
6-3
letters sent by
vote,
ABC.
rejected a challenge from the attorneys general from Louisiana and
I
Missouri
only
on
need the
social
ink
media
ribbon for my
users. They claim the
inquiry.
White House
I will let
pressured
Jack
social
clean the
media
keyboard if he
companies
wishes.
to remove controversial and misleading posts. Those posts included topics like election security and COVID. The High Court ruled the plaintiffs did not have standing to sue.
National correspondent Liz Landers joins us from Washington this afternoon. Liz, what are
And here is the ribbon.
of this decision?
Let us
and
see
what
if it
does
was
mean for
indeed
social
used to
media?
write the letters sent by ABC.
Sure, the White House is calling this a victory, as you guys said.
I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes. All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter.
The FBI talking to different platforms about threats they may be seeing that these social media folks are potentially not catching in their algorithms. So that will continue. In addition to that, I think the larger question and more important part of this decision is that it also leaves social media companies up to their own discretion to keep what they want on their platforms. So if social media platforms like YouTube see that somebody is posting something that may have false information about it, or they deem it to be false information, they can continue to remove that kind of content. And I think that this is really important, guys, as we go into the November elections. There is the potential, we know, we've heard from the FBI and other intelligence agencies that Russia, China, and Iran are going to try to meddle and interfere in the U.S. elections using mis and disinformation that will likely be spread on a lot of these large platforms that we all get our news from. So, this ruling today allows those social media companies to continue to remove what they deem to be
ABC guys, enough to sign about a dozen murders.
as we approach the November elections.
And Liz, what are you hearing from conservatives about what the court decided today?
Sure. Well, this case was mostly brought by a group of conservatives, including several attorneys general and then also a few individuals. And sort of
ABC guys, enough to sign about a dozen murders.
Andrew Bailey, and he put out a statement today on X, and he said, quote, "The record is clear. The deep state pressured and coerced social media companies to take down truthful speech simply because it was conservative." And then he also goes on to say there that the state of Missouri is not done. It sounds like he's going to look for other avenues or paths by which he can bring this kind of allegations of censorship in the form of an ongoing lawsuit. We also heard a pretty strong statement from the Judiciary Chairman, very conservative Republican Jim Jordan, who said that their committee, the Judiciary Committee, will continue to look into what they are calling conservative censorship on social media platforms too. So I don't think that this is going away as we approach November elections here in DC, guys.
What the hell are Liz Landers for us live in Washington? Liz, thank you. Well, sitting in traffic, it might make the list some of the most annoying things that you do. Maybe it might make the list.
There are a few things in life that can cause more frustration than sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic, especially when trying to get somewhere fast, right? Well, if you have some flexibility, you've historically been able to
John Milligan.
staying off the road during the morning commute,
Dear sir,
the late afternoon rush hour.
regarding the schedule of your this
That's
letter,
not the case anymore because as people's schedules changed, so did the rush hour.
So let's bring a national correspondent.
So what else have you got to do? He's such a room.
Thomas, I will tell you, as someone who moved from Denver to Atlanta, the traffic is a different beast here than it is where you live right now. Is there any city, any time of day that is immune from heavy traffic right now?
Honestly, Chris, it's all times of the day. So
I know this medicine.
If you hate traffic, you're going to hate this new report even more. So the new report says that drivers typically lost 42 hours a year due to congestion in 2023, and there is a new magic taking hold, and that is the midday traffic.
The nation's biggest cities are struggling to escape traffic jams. Transportation analytics company Index released its 2023 Global Traffic Scorecard this week, and while New York City traffic eased last year, it still topped the rankings as the most congested city in the world. In the U.S., Chicago and Los Angeles held onto their second and third place rankings from 2022 as the most congested cities, increasing their average time in traffic to 96 and 89 hours respectively. The top three busiest corridors in the U.S. are I-4 West in Orlando, Florida, I-5
Cast is
South in Los
parsimonious.
Angeles, and
He keeps his
I-95
pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury.
Bob Peshu, who co-authored the Index report, said
At least we can say that Mr. Cast is not very concerned about order and balance.
Traffic at noon, jumping 23% from 2019.
They're not leaving for the office at 7 in the morning. Or 6 in the morning, like in the past. So we're seeing that kind of trip demand to go to work.
All right, what's he missing?
Skylar McKinley with AAA says cities are working on ways to incentivize people to ditch their cars and shift to public transit.
This is one reason why you see conversations, as there was just one in New York City, about congestion pricing for the urban core. We've seen in the American West, for example, a lot of success with parking rides.
And he adds, we can all help clear the streets.
Remember, you can't be mad at traffic, you are traffic.
All right, guys, of course I can't do this story without talking about money on Main
It is
and
not
Wall,
the right time.
So that report actually came out and said that drivers typically lost $733 in time. Now, in order to get to this live shot, it took
He was already established.
I don't know how much that is.
That's the typewriter.
But after these live shots, I got to go home, and traffic is starting to pick up right now behind me. But if it holds like this, I'll be very happy, guys.
And it's just the mid-afternoon.
I was going to say, this is nothing, Thomas. This looks fine. This looks like a nice ride home.
Thomas Oppo live in Denver for us. Thomas, thank you. Drivers in Detroit are dealing with a situation that's familiar to the rest of the country.
Yes, lots of construction barrels, lane reductions, and slower speeds. It is so easy to lose your cool when you're in a long line trying to get from point A to point B. You glance constantly at your watch, you pound the steering wheel, and not to keep time to the music. According to Scripps News Detroit, asked drivers what they do to keep their cool, and she got very different answers.
I guess it is him.
Breathe deep into your nose.
So, what's the video, bro?
There it is. They just let it go.
How do you practice that? How do you practice patience?
A whole lot of curse words at the same time.
Are you trying to cursing how? Sure. Don't push out the other driver, take the window down. Keep my window up. And leave the window up. Yeah.
And just remember, when the construction is over, traffic will flow more smoothly possible.
Still to come here on Main and Wall. It's been 3 months since the Baltimore Bridge collapsed, and the impacts are still being felt.
Yeah, very much so. What our Scripps News investigative team discovered about how often similar crashes happen across the country.
Plus, today's a very special anniversary as we celebrate the first
scan,
where the technology is heading 50 years later.
Where's Costa? Why are you pressing here?
plans could show up at the polls. This is not partisan. This isn't Republican, Democrat. This is American. White House. They know it's 3630 Central, only on Scripps News.
What else has he got to fucking do?
I used to think all doctors were the same. Then I switched. Oh, speak up. You see, this isn't your typical doctor's office. Instead of waiting around for me to get sick,
nothing else to do.
So keep me healthy and feeling good. Still got it. No sugar, right? The best part, everyone at Bow Street Health is experiencing
John Milligan, Managing Director. Dear sir, further, regarding the schedule of your round, this letter establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churchton. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes.
There you go.
We get to know you better with longer appointment times, including
It's
same-day and
an
next-day
ABC.
appointments.
Everyone gets their own thing. Whether it's doctors, nurses, social workers,
I've finished with this subject.
someone to help me understand my Medicare benefits. They all work together. For me, myself, and I.
Did Cust drop it when he opened
To
the...
mention a 24/7 patient support line.
We customized the plan for him, and we can do the same for you.
Getting the care you need has never been easier because our team members work together.
I've
to handle
finished
all
with
your
this
healthcare
subject.
needs.
You get all this for no extra cost. You can get all your medical records and health history. So switching to their doctors is easy. You can keep living your life your way.
At Oak Street Health, we specialize in caring for older adults like you. Call 800-967-2157 to schedule a visit.
Did Cust drop it when
Primary
you...
care providers carry the AARP name. Oak Street Health.
Used for 2 weeks, now it's a $1,500 Cobra. Didn't even learn smoke on the water. Broke her pinky. Pulled her groin. Glued it to the tape. Interesting. She even speak a little Spanish.
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Solo 15 minutos al día.
Start learning today.
A lot of the time with weight loss, we focus on all the things we can't do. But our bodies can do a lot of things. Amazing things. Hard things. Fun things. Things that feel good. Things that are
This dark stain. It could be blood, but goodness knows how long it has been there. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Where was Cust at the time of the Bexhill murders?
Welcome back. It's black and white and it's scanned all over. It's the barcode, and today marks 50 years since the first one was scanned. You probably don't often think about the striped rectangle, but it's changed the way we shop over the last 5 decades. All started on June 26, 1974, when the first barcode was scanned on a pack of Wrigley's chewing gum at a grocery store in Troy, Ohio. Today, barcodes are scanned 10 billion times a day, and that's our big number today, which means every second, more than 115,000 barcodes are scanned. That's according to GS1, the organization that sets the standards behind the barcode.
Karen Wilkie is with us now. She is the Senior Vice President of Standards and Technology at GS1. Karen, thank you for taking the time to be with us. So take us through how the barcode was originally developed.
Yeah, absolutely. So 50 years ago, we celebrated the first scan. To get us there, though, there was a lot that went into creating barcode. It started as a way for retailers to save the time through checkout for consumers, and they tried to come up with something.
The register shows that Cust did not sleep at the guest house on the day of the murder. Where was he? Bexhill. The Bexhill paper reveals it. Cust bought this newspaper in Bexhill on July the 25th.
Because now, for so many of us,
No use continuing the inspection of this room. I've seen all there is to
You
see.
say it has impacted the retail industry.
The barcode barcode has impacted retail in so many ways. You know, it started as that, people through the checkout line faster, has evolved.
Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
I look forward to seeing you again, Mr. Poirot.
And then moving beyond use cases like
Chief Inspector. I was about to leave.
Good evening, Chief Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cost on the counter.
I'm sorry I'm late. I've spent ages with the Doncaster police. And you?
I have established one fact. On 3 occasions, Cust was at the scene on the day of the crimes.
Especially at restaurants, I think that's something that definitely since the pandemic we've seen more of. How does a barcode compare to a QR code in the world of Bitway?
So a barcode today is a barcode that we know and love. Really just holds some numbers, and it doesn't give you any more information than that. So it's a great way to move things from point to point B, but it depends on a lot of back-end information to look up things like price or look up information. The QR code, like you're showing on screen right now, gives the ability to encode a lot of data. And so what we really see and benefit from QR codes is URLs.
So
GS1 Digital Link allows you to combine the power of the barcode that we know today with the numbers that are encoded in those lines and spaces, with the power of the QR code that gives that URL to provide much more information to consumers and retailers.
And what's the next generation of the barcode?
It is now the right time.
There you go.
I had best talk to Chap.
I've listened closely to what you have to say, Poirot. For me, there's no doubt Cust is guilty. Do you have any element that might prove the contrary?
That is what we're going to look for. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Kind of the next generation, and I scan a barcode. What does that look like for me at the grocery store?
Was it possible for us to have killed the 3 victims?
The next generation looks like
because the typewriter, he literally had one of the letters that he wrote.
Coming up, that will be the code that you scan here. So instead of the lines and spaces,
all the letters that you wrote from this typewriter.
Pretty seamless for those of us who do self-checkout as our own cashier today.
Talking about murders. He had the knife like when he used to Carmichael.
Thank you.
Lied about his destination.
Coming up, are you planning any big summer home projects? What do you need to know before hiring a contractor?
Emo feces. He brings up blood when he coughs.
Municipal bonds don't usually have the media coverage that stock market does. In fact, most people don't find them all that exciting. But if you're looking for the potential for consistent income that's federally tax-free, now is an excellent time to consider municipal bonds from Kenyon & Walsh. If you have at least $10,000 to invest, call and talk with one of our bond specialists at 1-800-465-8465. We'll send you our exclusive bond guide. With details about how bonds can be an important part of your portfolio. Kenyon & Walsh has specialized in fixed income and growth solutions for 30 years and offers high-quality municipal bonds from across the country. They provide the potential for regular income, are readily tax-free, and have historically low risk. Call today to request your free bond guide. 1-800-465-8465. 1-800-465-8465.
Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024, the Audion Adam2 series offers superior sound quality and functionality for a fraction of the price. For just $189 a pair, the Adam2 features 4 different hearing modes for all types of hearing loss. It has crystal clear sound, a nearly invisible design, and is even rechargeable.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids. They're so comfortable, I forget I'm wearing them. And the sound is amazing.
The Adam Pro 2 is our smallest hearing aid yet, featuring advanced background noise cancellation, and is the world's first hearing aid with built-in UV cleaning that kills 99% of bacteria. I could not believe how my hearing and life changed without seeing a doctor or having a hearing test. Join over 500,000 happy customers today and get the hearing you deserve.
Call 1-800-266-5809 or go to audionhearing.com to get your pair of Audion hearing aids starting at just $189.
He had a murder weapon.
This is proof the fastest growing pet owner eliminator in the world. It's safe for people, pets, and planet. Powerful enough to eliminate the stink from any organic odor. Yet it's safe enough to use on pet toys, their pets, even on them. So why waste money on any product that doesn't totally eliminate the stink? There's only one proof available online and at these stores. If it's not proof, it's stinks.
Today, starting at 5, live from our Atlanta and DC studios, it's the National Report. Then at 6, learn how political headlines are impacting American life with the race. All at 7, the debrief. All on Scripps News.
Terms of paying attention to the race. It takes place on both sides of the aisle here. It can be seen on both sides of these aisles.
The race, tonight at 6, 5 Central, only on Scripps News.
Well, renovating a home can be expensive and stressful, especially for the wrong contract.
Yeah, the wrong eyes could mean a big mess and an even bigger bill. Consumer reporter John Matarese shares one woman's story to help you avoid a home improvement nightmare.
Planning to hire a contractor this year to do some work around your home, maybe to install new cabinets.
Are there any conflict between us and the
you need to hear one woman's horror story.
Comment?
Little house is very cozy.
Tiana Lynch loved her new home till she said a contractor rehab job made it uninhabitable.
Right here. Water. Pouring from the cellar.
The very first time she used her upstairs shower, she says, water cascaded into the lower bathroom. She says a home inspector told her the work needs to be redone.
She said that the whole thing has to be taken down from what?
She showed me upside-down electrical outlets and a sloppy paint job.
Right here, you can see a big ladder of paint.
Everybody have to pay for this job.
Over $13,000.
Contractor Anna Wells gave us a tour of one of her projects, a master bath renovation.
12 by 24 marble look tile.
She shared her tips for hiring a reliable contractor, starting with referrals from friends or local Facebook groups.
You will have to highly recommend certain contractors in the area.
Wells recommends you get multiple quotes and only move forward with a contract that's in writing. In the event a contractor runs off or leaves a mess, Wells says ask for a certificate of insurance.
Unless you have a certificate of insurance, with your policy number, your agent's information, and the company they're insured through, you have little to no recourse.
We reached out to Tiana's contractor, who told us he's willing to finish the job, but Tiana says she's had enough.
It is excuse after excuse after excuse.
And only wishes she had read online reviews before hiring him. That would be a waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
Ken coffee brand Snapchill is
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His presence at the scenes, the knife, the blood-stained shirt, the ABCs in a box.
C'est vrai. However, the blood Mrs. Marbury saw on Cust's shirt may have been his own. According to his medical records, he suffers from hemoptysis. The murderer cuts a Carmichael's throat from behind, and the blood spurted outwards. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes, yet we see quite the opposite. You would expect the murderer to keep the newspaper articles about his crimes. But Cust's collection starts in Cheston, as if he discovered the case rather late.
I agree it's troubling, but it doesn't change my mind. There's small details that we should be able to clear up by questioning Cust.
When can you talk to him?
Doncaster is sending him to us on the first train.
Are they questioning him already?
He says he can't remember a thing.
It's plausible. Doctors say he suffers from absences and amnesia. Mrs. Marbury has confirmed this.
He may have done the murders in an altered state.
A familiar situation.
It's not enough to clear his name. Dr. Thompson insisted that even if you don't know what you're doing, you never commit a murder without wanting to.
Très intéressant. I shall remember that.
Right. I'll go and examine the suspect's room.
Chief Inspector, I took the liberty of removing a few clues to examinator.
All right, we'll discuss them tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to see if you've missed something.
To keep people safe while they're riding the bus. How attack and spot firearms and the concerns surrounding its use. Also, big story we're watching tonight. The NBA draft is tipping off in just a few hours. The question is, will LeBron James and some of the LeBron James be picked? What that could mean. Everyone's giving it. You're watching Main and Wall. I'm Chris.
Yeah.
To Scotland Yard, please.
When Lila was ready to sell her ring, she sent it to Worthy, where they took care of everything and auctioned it on her terms. Then Worthy sent Lila her money. She's worthy of more. Get started at worthy.com.
I am not going to leave before having finished questioning him.
I'm Jonathan Lawson. If you're 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock.
This man is not in good shape.
A rate lock that guarantees that once you're insured, your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock from Colonial Penn. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income with life insurance that fits their budget.
What do you want from me?
Coverage options start at $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. Act now, and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase, guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage.
He is worried and very tired, and other police have been hard on him.
And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free beneficiary plan. Both for free, with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide.
So he's like
100% money back guarantee.
Split personality.
Call this number now.
Call now and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record important information and your final wishes. And it's yours free just for calling. So don't wait. Call 1-800-440-9900 for your free information. That's 1-800-440-9900. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-440-9900. That's 1-800-440-9900. So call now.
Oh, give him a sedative?
Small steps, like
I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative.
come together to make big changes for your weight loss, hair loss, anxiety, and more.
Give a
Their
sedative.
personalized treatment plan 100% online at forhers.com.
No, don't give a sedative? Here we go. Trying to find just exactly the perfect place to click at. But apparently,
Welcome to Man and Wall. I'm Chris Stewart.
And I'm Chris Wynn, live in Atlanta. The Dolly cargo ship is heading to Virginia. It left Baltimore, headed for repairs nearly 3 months after slamming into the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Now, you may remember this crash that caused that bridge to collapse. This was back in March, and since then, the Scripps News investigative team has been looking at how often barges, ships, strike bridges, and the answer might surprise you.
Investigative correspondent Patrick Christie is live now in our Washington bureau. And Patrick, you've got some alarming findings to share.
I think so. It turns out that the
exactly right.
is really all the time. And anytime that happens, it's a big deal. It's why the Coast Guard records it as a maritime incident. We got our hands on that data from the Coast Guard. We spent weeks going through it, trying to figure out where are these strikes happening. And it turns out they're happening all over the United States, and they've happened hundreds of times since 2019, especially along the Mississippi River. One bridge in particular caught our attention.
Why, I want to click.
One of the most banged up pillars on the old Highway 80 railroad bridge has been hit more than 200 times over the decades, earning it a nickname.
They call it Scar.
They call this Scar?
Scar. If you look at it, you can tell why.
As we get closer, we see how barges have scraped away enough concrete to expose steel rebar installed when the bridge was built almost 100 years ago. You worry that any of these barges could hit one of these piers in such a way that it could actually take down the bridge?
Yeah. The concrete's 15 feet thick there.
So far, these supports have been able to absorb all the blows from the barges that run into the bridge. But our investigation found even small vessels can threaten the integrity of huge bridges. 180 miles down the river, that's what happened to this bridge. In 2018, this crane
He is worried and very tired. And other police.
Minor damage, that's what engineers said was nearly a catastrophe.
Oh, that's what it is. You can't have this stuff.
Investigation after the accident noted that by calculations, the bridge should have ultimately failed and resulted in the bridge collapse. That bridge, the one in Vicksburg, and the bridge in Baltimore all have something in common.
What do you want from me?
Long before national design standards called out how to build bridges capable of absorbing ship and barge strikes. As a result, those older bridges,
Good day, Mr. Cust. I am Hercule Poirot.
Vulnerable to getting hit by a ship.
You're the
because
detective.
They are much less likely to have things like a bumper or a fender. Also, those bridges, turns out, were built long before.
Why did you send me a letter before each crime?
Why all these questions? When are you going to stop pestering me?
Ramming into the bridge in Baltimore, that's just something that engineers did not foresee ever happening in terms of the size of that ship before 1991 and those.
Maybe you forgot that you wrote these letters.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes I forget. Maybe I did type them.
Since the disaster at Baltimore, what did you find?
Well, we learned through a Freedom of Information Act request that the Federal Highway Administration is actually asking.
Are you capable of murder, Mr. Cust?
Bridges over major waterways.
All these questions are giving me a headache.
What has been done to the pillars as far as protection systems, bumpers and fenders, like I was just talking about. What has been done both in the current years and in the previous years to protect those bridges? We're talking about over 100 of them. This is part of the National Transportation Safety Board's investigation.
There's no step to reply.
In Baltimore. It will be interesting to see where that heads.
Poor man. If only I
could. Live in our DC newsroom. And a reminder, you can watch the full investigation tonight at 8:30 Eastern, right here on Scripps News. Patrick, thank you.
We're just a few hours away from the NBA draft. Young Men's Worlds will change when they hear their names called tonight. But when they hear their names, that can mean a difference of tens of millions of dollars over their career. Rookie contracts are based on a sliding scale.
So he's not the runner-up?
The more money he is guaranteed to make. And this year, the #1 pick can make as much as $12.6 million in his first season. And he can make more than $57 million.
Oh, good God, my shirt is covered in blood again.
Contract, the last player drafted in the first round.
Bon. I now know where the bloodstains Mrs. Marbury saw came from. Are you well enough to speak?
4 years in the league.
Yes, I feel much better.
First pick. Unlike last year, there's really not a consensus on what they should do with that #1 pick. And another storyline we're following, Bronny James. Could the Lakers take him? Would he?
I do not believe that you are capable of murder, Mr. Cust.
Keep an eye on that tonight.
I hope not.
See which teams want to move up or move down the draft.
Eric Mitchell is with us now. He's the president of LifeFlip Media and national sports analyst. Eric, thanks so much for being here.
You suffered during the war.
So there
it's
is a
true.
lot at
I was
stake tonight.
wounded.
All eyes on the Hawks.
I suffered.
What do you think they'll do with the first pick?
But the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions, just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Trying to, get all these picks, and then Houston wants to make a run for
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
19-year-old from overseas, but even that isn't certain because there's a lot of movement, a lot of talk between that player and this big guy that the Wizards.
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, never.
Except Bronny James. Everybody seems to be like 6'8" to 7'4", except for Bronny. So it's going to be interesting when you're seeing who's moving on the board. And, again,
do you deny being at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot, but not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains.
And adding to all of that,
but I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
But what do rookies need to think about when it comes to managing these?
Let's see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards.
So that could happen to these players, and that's what they need to have player safety, because they need to maintain, yes, they're making great money. If you're a first-round draft pick, when you're making just under $12 million, that's a great thing to be making.
So it would appear that you tied them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember.
That I think a lot of people miss.
Good God.
Players are taught money management.
I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
They're actually talking to them when they're 17 and not when they're coming out now and going to the draft. This is what you've seen with NIL really helping with NBA and NFL players. They're learning about money management earlier in their life. There's some great money managers out there, and they're helping these players save for a rainy day and not just go out and buy cyber trucks.
Take this.
Reminder that no one is invincible. Bronny James isn't expected to go in the first round, but he might be the most anticipated pick. Where might he go? Lakers in the second round, or might we see an eventual trade here?
I think I'll be fine.
I feel bad for Bronny James.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders.
One of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Yes,
it's hard to say.
I know.
I'd love to see the Lakers pick him up, but now you've seen the Celtics throw
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
I honestly think for the Lakers, they have a pick.
I don't.
I've seen who I've heard through my sources. It looks like the Lakers are going to pick up Bronny and give him a chance. I personally don't think he's ready for the league. I think a lot of people know that. I think
let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
Both get to kind of have that King Griffey Jr. Experience again with father-son. So I'm hoping it's the Lakers. That would be great for TV magic and for what could be Bron's final season.
Derek, we know a top draft pick can change the trajectory for an NBA team. It can also inject a lot of money into the city's economy. I know it varies from case to case, but how much of a difference can one player make for a team?
You've seen it in the NBA Finals.
And what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better.
It makes a difference. People get excited to watch basketball.
Let us now try and get how brain cells to work.
It blew new blood into the city of San Antonio. It caused...
What do we know about
Let's go back. Let's talk about the WNBA. I think we talked about it a little bit. Caitlin Clark. You might have heard that name, the Indiana Fever. I think they're almost more popular than the Pacers. I mean, she's the hottest ticket in town if you look at the numbers for her just by herself. So there's a player, and it's funny, we're talking NBA, we're bringing WNBA players into this because it's how one player can make a difference by just putting fans and causing excitement and injecting it to a city that's just desperate for it. And I know the Hawks are looking for that player. They thought they had it with their point guard, but rumor has it he might be traded tonight when they make moves, so you never know. Nobody's safe on draft night.
30 seconds left. Which storyline out of the draft are you most excited about?
Bron James. Little Bronny James, and where he goes, I think that's got all of our strings. We watched Bron come into the league as a rookie, as a first round. Draft pick. We watched his amazing career. Was at his first game ever back when he was a Cavs playing the Kings. So I'm excited to see his son come into the league. I don't care where he goes. Just going to be great. Hopefully his dad, I can't wait to see what his dad said in his message today. It was just, as a dad, was one of those things that hits you right in the feels. Is he just proud of his boy? And it's exciting to watch that tonight. And all these young men, everything they get. I know draft night is a big stress, but it's fun to see at the end of the day.
Yeah, time certainly flies, and we've definitely been able to see a lot of these players that are entering the draft or being part of this year. We've seen them rise through social media and the internet. So a lot of folks very connected to these players already, more so than previous years. Eric Mitchell, president of LifeLive Media. Eric, thank you. Thank you guys. All right, see you soon. Florida Panthers Game 7 victory over the Edmonton Oilers Monday night was the most viewed NHL matchup in 5 years.
Yeah, this is according to ESPN. If you watch the game, you can believe it. There was so much energy in the arena. The network said the elimination game drew an average of 7.7 million viewers, which outperformed finals viewership 2023 and 2022 by 182%, 32% respectively. Neither of those which made this so exciting to watch. However, Monday night's game peaked at 10.3 million viewers. ESPN said it's the most watched game on the company's streaming platform, ESPN+.
The home of the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars will get a $1.4 billion makeover. The Jags and the city signed off on it, and all that's left is approval from NFL owners when they meet in October, where we begin after the 2025 season and be done in time for the 2028 season. The city of Jacksonville will be responsible for 55% of the cost. The deal includes a 30-year lease, putting to rest fears that the Jaguars might leave. Right, still ahead on Maine, and while summer is here and temps are on the rise, we'll show you the technology that's being added to vehicles to prevent hot car deaths.
And teaching the next generation of teachers to program in one state that's helping address the critical need for educators. And as we head break, a reminder that we always want to hear what you have to say. So give us a call. Scripps News Viewer Hotline. See the number right there. 1-833 from Scripps. It's toll free. Share comments, ask us questions. If you have an interesting story idea, give that number a call and let us know.
Can we say without a shadow of a doubt that Christ is guilty?
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves in getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones.
I don't see any clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point, Twilight. Securier Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him to say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down, he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view.
Is it easy?
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
You see that tower up there? It's a beauty. There are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you. It's like
That's clever, though.
This beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing.
Oh, look, we have customers who buy any phone and 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit consumercellular.com today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone. Look at you. You're doing everything you can to get your blood pressure in check. You're exercising, you're eating right, and now you have Super Beats Heart Chews on your side too. Paired with a healthy lifestyle, Super Beats Heart Chews polyphenol compound is 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure, which means more energy, better circulation, and blood pressure support that is easy and convenient. In a leading clinical study, Super Beats Heart Chews polyphenol compound is shown nearly 2 times as effective at promoting normal blood pressure as a healthy lifestyle alone. So double your potential with With Super Beets Heart Chews, just 2 delicious pomegranate berry chews a day support nitric oxide production, healthy blood pressure, blood flow, and heart-healthy energy. Plus, they're plant-based and gluten-free. What are you waiting for? Become unstoppable and support your healthy blood pressure with Super Beets Heart Chews. Find out how to get a free 30-day supply plus free shipping with your first order at superbeetschews.com.
Safety is a big concern on public transit, but in Nevada, one company is using artificial intelligence to help.
And the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada is teaming up with Zero Odds. That is a security service company using AI to detect firearms. The software is being installed across transit buildings, plus yards, RTC buildings. Weapons can be using AI and existing cameras. Once the gun is spotted, images are sent to the Zero Eyes operation, which is staffed by trained law enforcement veterans. Alerts then go to local law enforcement and RTC staff in seconds.
There's a fine line between, not infringing on somebody's rights when they have a right to carry versus somebody that's illegal and going to do something nefarious with a firearm.
Oh, okay.
One bus driver called the technology a huge relief. She says she never knows what to expect when a passenger boards the bus. RTC recently added a panic button system for drivers to expedite responses to emergencies.
Shares of Rivian soared 40% before markets opened today after Volkswagen vowed to invest $1 billion into the EV maker and up to $5 billion as part of a software development agreement. The cash-strapped Rivian is in dire need of funding to help develop its next vehicle. In exchange, Rivian will allow VW to use its existing electrical architecture platform. Both companies are planning to lower costs per vehicle produced while ramping up scale. Vehicles produced through the joint venture are expected to launch in the second half of the decade. As temperatures rise, it's important to make sure you don't leave your children or pets in the car.
It's very important. Congress is working to equip all cars with alerts to remind drivers to look in the back seat. Lauren Adams with Scripps News Waco has more on how far down the road those changes could be.
Then it has the title that says check rear occupant.
Eduardo Esteban is a car salesman at the Ford dealership in Waco. He showed me a new Expedition with features to help prevent hot car death.
As soon as you turn off the vehicle, it'll show you a little icon saying check rear for occupants.
Over the past 25 years, 971 children have died in a hot car.
Cuss character is quite the opposite of the murderers.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours.
Mandatory on all new cars. The NHTSA tells me they are working towards that. Saying in part, NHTSA is analyzing more sophisticated technologies to detect
what a difference it is.
As well as actively assessing the effectiveness of the one rear seat occupant detection system the agency has
and on that note, we shall go home.
Because nowadays,
it is 10 minutes to 4 in the Central Daylight Time in New Orleans.
The temperatures recently that have been
and we're going to quit
the country. I was Lauren Adams with Scripps News
Waco. This game sucks.
Healthcare needs to diversify its workforce to get rid
It is such I'm just so mad.
Sciences, engineering, and medicine. The report details racial, ethnic inequalities in healthcare. Researchers say
told me I got some
in the U.S. experience these inequalities despite legislation meant to improve health outcomes for minorities. The report found structural racism and people's surroundings contributed to worse health outcomes for minority patients.
Following is written instructions. Cost goes to Endova. Visits. Following is written instruction when we receive the first letter.
There's a critical need for teachers nationwide, and one state is working to bridge the gap.
How come I don't have anything from
the program allows applicants to advance their careers and work in the classroom for free. Ohio has seen a gradual decline in new teachers.
When we receive the first letter, It visits Mrs. Asher is the old lady. We investigate a few weeks later. Alexander Bonaparte Betty Barnard leaves her work. The young woman is in Bexhill, 5 days after the Bexhill murder. In the afternoon, in Churston, we receive the final. Back in London, Cust is seized by a violent coughing fit and brings up blood. He stains his shirt, which later frightens his landlady. We receive the final letter from Avis, the second general meeting. Cust's landlady telephones the Scotland Yard to tell them about her suspicions. Cust is arrested shortly afterwards in Doncaster. Franklin had planned a fourth murder in Doncaster. He abandons the idea after Cust's arrest. Cust confesses to the crimes he did not commit.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Threads. We'll be right back.
Alright.
Thursday night, Scripps
Yes, it either sucks or I suck at it.
The special American
So,
VII, the simulcast of the senior presidential debate, and the special pass to the White House is all Thursday
Yeah, let's call it a day.
Next on Scripps
So,
News.
goodbye.
The DC studios.
Goodbye. Bye, everyone. Adios. Sayonara.